be playing something on. We are live. Okay, sorry. You'll hear a snippet of me. I'm gonna make a post about it. Gotta do all of the classic social media stuff. Necessary evil. I mean, it's not necessary, but if I don't do this, I'm not gonna know anyone tuning in, so bear with me. Got a fun stream planned for today. Fortunately, I'm still using Discord. Not all communities can switch to a new platform so quickly. All right, making a post. Making a post there. One more post. Word. Opening up chat. Sorry if I've missed any messages. Yeah, gotta make one more thing. Gonna text some buds. Checking text from my girlfriend. Chat still loading for me. Might have to load it up on the side. Plugin's not working. Classic. All right, give me 1 second to get situated with that. Okie dokie. Okay, I think I've got the chats up. Word. Okay, I think we're all set up. Now that we're all set up, it's time to hurry up and install. Right? Cool. So, zoom in on myself. What's up, everyone? Yeah, got an interesting stream planned for everyone. As always, let me know if there's any issues with volume or levels, because I'm going to be using my mic to speak as well as capturing my desktop audio. But yeah, so let's see, what have I been up to the past week and a half? So I think many of y'all probably remember last time I streamed was on 2 weeks ago, and I had opened up an Ableton project, work in progress. I've been pretty taken with that idea and been putting in a lot of work to it, and it's actually transformed a good bit. And good news is we'll actually be picking up working on that same track this stream. But before I get into the details of that, why am I streaming today? Well, I've had this goal to stream every other Thursday. However, as life is, this Thursday there was a show that I wanted to go to. And so I was like, well, I'm just not going to cancel. I'll just stream on a different day. And for those of you all in the area, greater Boston area, let me pull up the show. It is Takuya Nakamura playing. Of course, in my calendar, I only put the name, but not the venue. pull the website with details. Here we go. Oh, nice. OP1. But yeah, this artist is coming through Boston on Thursday at Sonia, one of my favorite venues. I think it's a great kind of small to mid-sized venue where it's usually not too crowded. But if you haven't seen or heard of this artist before, I definitely recommend checking him out. He's got some really cool live performance stuff. And what he's kind of blown up for recently, and what I believe he's going to be touring with, is essentially, let's go to his Insta, playing like old school drum and bass stuff, I'm pretty sure on vinyl, and playing like jazz trumpet on top of it. It is really cool, really vibey. I heard about him from this video that popped up my YouTube feed, rare YouTube algorithm W. And let's play a little bit. Hopefully, volume isn't too bad. Oh, nice. So cool. So cool. Yeah. So again, he's playing Thursday. That's why I'm not streaming Thursday, because I wanted to go and see him perform. Yeah. If you see me at the show, feel free to say hi. What's up? We love drum and bass. Yeah. I can't remember the last time I've actually seen someone. Oh, just kidding. He's not spinning on vinyl. I just thought, oh, old school drum and bass. Yeah, spinning on vinyl. Not spinning vinyl, but still, trumpet, still analog, still counts. Really cool. I think it's going to be really vibey, fun show. I don't know what the details are on if there's an opener, all that jazz. Let's see if we can find out the info. So yeah, at 7 o'clock, nice. Us old folks, it's great to be able to actually go to a show on a weeknight and not have to stay up super late. But let's see what info we can find. I don't know if there's any openers. Unclear. We go on Middle East, or I guess, does Sony have a separate website? They might. Let's see. Nice. Recommended memes, of course. Maybe it is Middle East. I'm not used to using Instagram in the browser. I thought searches would come up. Okay, we're getting pictures and not accounts. Sorry if I can't pull this out. Here, why don't we just go to the Middle East Cambridge website. They have any info? Coming events. What is this? The 19th? Oh, here we go. Cool. We do have an opener. You know, here's engagement bait / mini rant. It always frustrates me that if there are openers, it's like nearly impossible to find, at least for some events and some venues. They just aren't really that public about it. Like, you don't really see it on social media. You'll often have to go to the ticket page here. Luckily, they have it on the flyer, but sometimes it's like buried in the event text. That's always kind of frustrated me. But cool. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this artist. I'll definitely be excited to check them out. Always go see the openers, support local, even if I don't know if this is a local person, but I always love seeing the openers. Yeah, 7 o'clock. I don't think they're sold out yet, so hopefully there's a good turnout. I think it'll be really chill. A nice thing to do for uh yeah, I guess the week of Valentine's Day, President's Day, whatever that means to you. Lunar New Year as well. Word. All right, I'm gonna check in on my streams just to make sure everything's good. It appears that way. Cool. Yeah. So we'll just kind of hang out for a couple more minutes. One other thing I did want to bring up. Yeah, so I was trying to figure out what to do for this stream today, and I think I kind of I kind of signed myself up to do something that was a lot more complicated than I initially thought it would be. But I've got it set up and working, and I'll get to that later. But the other things I was kind of considering doing was potentially talking about and showing my process for how I kind of find new tunes, new tracks to DJ with, going through different streaming services, making playlists, you know, how I try to do that efficiently because there's so much music that comes out, and essentially picking my favorite because it's like, yeah, I can identify a bunch of tracks I want to DJ with, but I have to kind of narrow it down because if I don't do that process of narrowing it down and being like, okay, I like this track better, then I'll end up with like maybe 30 tracks a month or so. And like for someone, if they're DJing weekly or whatever, that is pretty doable because you can kind of churn through all that content. You want to have a lot of new music going on. But for me, who kind of DJs mostly in the personal time and doesn't stream very frequently DJing stuff, accumulating that much music is crazy because then I have to keep track of all that music. I have to be familiar with the song, each song arrangement, make sure everything is gridded out, organized into playlists, into vibes. And then with that much music, if I don't DJ that frequently, it's so easy to lose track of it. So yeah, I think that would be a fun stream in the future, because not only will it be showing that process, it'll just be also showing the kind of music that I like to DJ, and maybe hopefully kind of give you some tips on how to dig for new music. I'm kind of old fashioned, meaning that I haven't really played around with any like DJ streaming services yet. I know Case Spowboy, I was talking to them and asking them how they felt about that and how it works out for them. And I think it sounds like it works super well, especially like them if you're streaming a lot of DJ stuff and you want to be able to get music on the fly. It's a lot more affordable than buying all your music. But I'm kind of old fashioned in that I still go and buy my music. For the longest time, that was through iTunes. But in the last 2 or 3 years, I switched to kind of doing Beatport because I wanted better quality music. Quality, not like the songwriting quality, but quality in terms of the file quality. Because Apple stuff is not super great. I don't remember the bitrate that they use, but it's not amazing. And also, it became such a huge pain in the butt to deal with their copyright stuff. Like, I remember having problems with really old tracks that I had bought on my iCloud maybe like a decade ago or so, and then trying to open the Apple Music app and then it being like having some warnings and like, oh, you don't own this or whatever, or just some random DRM stuff that was really annoying. Because I used iTunes for everything, for making playlists, for buying music. So now I've begrudgingly shifted to Beatport and Bandcamp. So I basically source music that I like through SoundCloud, through Tidal, which I use instead of Spotify, and make a playlist of the stuff I like, and then try and not find everything that I can on Bandcamp, because I feel like that's the platform that gives the most money to the artists directly. And if I can't find it there, it's usually going to be on Beatport. And sometimes it's also free download on SoundCloud. So one day I'll kind of take you through that process. But while I'm still vamping up, one quick thing I wanted to bring up, and maybe I won't because I think the copyright stuff might get the stream muted, but I'll just verbally talk about it. Since this stream is kind of a dubstep stream, that's the genre we'll be making today. But there's this really interesting subset of dubstep that's been kind of in the background for a while, but only maybe in the recent year or two that's come to the forefront of being popular. And that's kind of like Star Wars themed rhythm. And if you know, you'd know, like, it kind of started out with Da Force, DA Space Force. And Star Wars rhythm is basically kind of like this genre that is rhythm, but it uses a bunch of Star Wars vocal samples and like sound effects because of, you know, Star Wars sound design and sound effects is amazing. And the theming is really cool, and it kind of creates this sort of sound palette that artists can immediately jump on, but not have to like necessarily form their own sound. So it's become like a way for a bunch of people to make aliases, like secret aliases, where they're like, okay, I'm going to make some Star Wars rhythm and throw it on SoundCloud. And a lot of the music is like not fully released, or they're you know, specials that you can buy off of the artist for like a high amount of money. But it's like a lot of exclusive stuff, but it's really sick. And it started out, and there's like all sorts of drama, and I won't go through it all, but over the past like 2 or 3 years, there's been like 5 or 6 or even more different aliases that were all anonymous people making dubstep that is Star Wars themed. And the reason I brought this up is because we got like a really, really big release last week in this area. There's been releases in the past of like singles and one-offs but this one is by the band Modal Nodes, or not band, but group, 2 anonymous producers, where I feel like, in my opinion, they're my favorite out of sort of this genre. And actually, I think I could probably play one of their clips that's unreleased and I won't get muted on stream, but super sick. They put out a release on Infect's label, Port Zero, full EP. And with Port Zero, if you buy you know, the EP through their website, they'll give you 2 exclusive tracks that you can't get on other streaming sites or you know, digital markets. So it's super sick. And they also debuted recently. They performed live, so we confirmed it's 2 people. I don't know if there's like an official set that is up. I know there's some bootleg stuff on YouTube where someone in the crowd recorded it. But anyways, it's super sick. You should check them out. I'll pull up a SoundCloud clip and play it. But for those who are like interested in Star Wars lore, there's like a lot of goofy like references and memes sort of inserted into this genre of music. But Modal Nodes is actually the name of a specific band and universe in Star Wars. It's the Cantina band. The, you know, it's that band. they're the Modal Nodes, and there's all sorts of history between them and another group called Rebo Band, which is the band that you see in the 6th Star Wars movie at Jabba's Palace with the weird CGI guy that George Lucas decided to put in. That's Rebo Band. So it's all kind of like sourced and steeped in memes, but the music itself is incredibly serious and super heavy. So I'll play probably my favorite clip by them. And if you know your Star Wars, you know your lore, you're going to recognize the title by a famous Palpatine quote. And of course, it's integrated in the track. So I'll play it out. It's super sick.
I have been every voice you have ever heard inside your head. The First Order was just the beginning. will give you so much more.
You'll die first.
I have died before. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities.
I've already got base face.
Be unnatural.
This flow in this upcoming fill is crazy.
Legends have a way of returning when least expected.
It will be done, my master.
Absolutely cracked. Track's not out. Exclusive. For 10 months. They've released a couple of the tracks that I really liked other than this one, but this is kind of like the holy grail. Who knows if it'll ever come out. But yeah, it's crazy. No one officially knows who they are. People have some suspicions. I've seen a lot of parallels between them and other producers. But it's super sick. Sound design is cool, really fresh. Flow is insane. Mix is pretty darn good. It's Star Wars. Yeah. So, I feel like that's enough stall. What's good, Andrew? Just saw your messages. How's it going? I was actually thinking about you when I was listening to that EP that came out. It's like, oh, I wonder if Andrew's still like into super heavy bass music stuff. But yeah, check him out. They just had an EP that's out on places other than just Spotify. But yeah, let's get cracking. So, yeah, I'll kind of review what I'm planning on working on today, which is picking up where we left off last stream, which was working on a dubstep track idea that I'd started. And first, I want to show you the updates that I made to the track and walk you through those. I've got a fresh year for that, so I'll probably review my notes on it. And then the special thing that I wanted to do was then basically take the stems of this track and run it through my modular setup to basically use like an external effects rack and record those back in, so that way at a later date I can come back in and pick snippets that I want to use, chop it up and integrate it back to the track. I find that I really enjoy working with this sort of quote unquote mud pie sound design approach, which, if you're not familiar, it's essentially when you set up like a really interesting effects route or synth patch where it can kind of play itself and you let it go for a while, like, you know, upwards 10-15 minutes, and just record, and then you come back to this big sound file and like scrub through it and clip different parts of it to use. And it's a really great way to make organic and unique sounds where it's like, oh, how on earth did they make this specific sound that is so weird and so random? It's like, how would you intentionally make it? Well, you don't. That's the whole keys. You didn't intentionally make that specific sound. You set up sort of like a Rube Goldberg machine of cool sound design-ness that will, you know, generate interesting things for you. And, you know, even if you record like 15 minutes and like 90% of it is garbage, 10% of that amount of time is still a lot of audio that you could use. It can be a little time consuming. obviously, to set up that patch, record it, and go back through and clip it. But yeah, that's kind of the idea for today. So first, let's listen to the track. Where are things with the track? How is the track? Yeah, let me pull up my Spectrum Analyzer because we love to have that. I don't want title. Oh, of course, it's on different screen. I'm gonna bring it over here. I'm gonna resize and save as. I love saving my projects as, because that allows me to kind of keep track of changes I've made, so I don't overwrite the same project. I can go back to old versions of stuff. Cool. So yeah, there's been a good amount of changes that I've made to this track, and most of it is related to the drop. With regards to the flow and the sound design, a lot of the same processing is still there, but I really went in and polished it and refined it. I also changed the drums a bit, and I found like a cool variation that I want to work on. So what I've basically got is the same intro, some stuff that I want to basically update here on the intro right before. I've got the drop, first 16 bars are solid. And the next phrase is a rough draft, but I think easy to flesh out. So let's play it from the top.
You know you want me. You know you waited on your honey. You know you did it for your body. You know you love me, know you want me. Laid all on me. You know you want me. You know you waited on your honey. You know you did it for your body. You know you love me, know you want me. Laid all on me.
Again, this section's kind of a skeleton right now.
You know
Heck yeah. Pretty darn happy with it. I initially, when I was first working on this track, I wanted the clap or snare to be really heavy, really impactful, but I was flipping through samples and I just heard this really, I don't know a good way to describe it, but like a funny sound. And I was like, what if I just use that as the snare? Let me find it. I believe it's this one. Yeah. I heard that and I was like, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, so I heard that sample and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a goofy like anti-snare. I love it with when tracks just kind of throw a curveball your way, where there's like the switch and then randomly it's the complete opposite of what you expect. Where you have, instead of a super heavy punchy snare that kind of complements the heaviness of the drop, you have something the complete opposite that kind of brings contrast. So I found that sample and tuned it. And I ended up adding some more layers to it, so it's a little bit more beefy than just that sound. So with all the other layers I added in, which are kind of different percussion, snaps, claps, and transient. So yeah, I think there's still a little bit I have to tune with that to get it to where I want it. And then the variation I added was layering in another resonance ringing sound. So yeah, I'm kind of on the edge of wanting to add something more transient heavy or punchy to cut through, but I really like the idea of it being very tonal. And I was especially kind of inspired by the recent Skrillex EP, where it was basically almost completely drumless. And like, I'm on the verge of thinking, like, do I need a kick, or can I just use the punch of the bass to kind of act as a kick? Because right now the kick is a pretty simple sounding kick, just kind of a plunk. Nothing really beefy. But yeah, so I took a couple notes for things that I wanted to come back to later. And yeah, so let's get into the stream today. So what am I going to do? Well, before I switch cameras, because we've got a multi-camera setup today, isn't that cool? I'm just going to kind of demonstrate the gist of things, how I've got this set up. So essentially, what I have is a way to route the audio coming from an Ableton channel and to send it to my modular rig. And that way I can basically route that audio through different various effects that I have and route that audio back into Ableton. So what I have right now is a channel set up to basically act as a send, where it is sending to that output. And then I have a return, which is returning that audio back. So I'm going to make sure things are dry. So what we should get back is basically exactly what we get in, just to make sure. So what we have being sent is just a drum break that I just grabbed. And so if I set record and go, we should basically get back the audio that we are sending in. We're getting nothing. Of course. Why is that? Bear with me. Oh, I know why. Apologies. When I had something fall off the desk as I was starting to stream, and that disconnected everything. Hey. All right. Sorry, there's like a noise floor. I'm sorry, the gate. But here we go. There we go. So right now, everything's dry. And let me check my levels. Am I audible over the incoming sound? I'm just gonna assume yes. Okay, so that's what we've got set up. And I'll just turn on one of the effects that I have routed through it. Anyways, chaos. So, there we go. Yeah, that's what we've got going. So, I'm gonna have to take a quick bio break before I jump in, switch cameras, all that jazz. So, I'll play the whip on loop, and I will be right back in 1 minute, and we'll jump into sampling some cool modular stuff. Be right back.
You know you waited on your honey. You know you waited for your body. You know you want me, you want me. Later on me. You know you want me. You know you waited on your honey. You know you waited for your body. You know you want me. Later on me. You know you want me.
Word.
You know you waited on your honey.
Chair streams is over. So, yeah, let me get switched. La, just like magic. We're now going off of my phone camera. So yeah, let me reposition the camera. Sorry if the mic gets kind of weird. I'm still figuring out how to position things in an effective way. Yeah, so what you see right now is basically kind of an external audio interface that basically, instead of going from, you know, your computer to monitors or getting the input from a microphone or like a guitar or whatever, we now have to and from audio for your rack stuff. So that's what this module does. Is I've got the that channel that I have in Ableton is being sent out through this wire, going through some effects, and then coming back through this wire. So, you know, just wanted to point this here just to show how I've got this connected. This is a USB going to my laptop, and the cool thing is, once I send the audio back through it, you'll see some lights light up. So the lighting on the jack is actually audio reactive. So it corresponds to the level of the audio coming through. So it's a nice way to be able to tell what's going on. So we're just going to play a continuous. I'm going to turn down the level so we can focus. Cool. So let's immediately jump to something incredibly much more complicated, which is the modular rack. All right, I'm gonna take the phone off of the stand for a second so you can kind of get a bird's eye view of things. So this is one of my modular racks, and we're not going to use all of it today, quite certainly. I'm just going to be using the audio processing, audio effects portion of it, not going to be synthesizing anything. So yeah, essentially this is a really cool way of being able to have like a very tactile approach to making music. It's really great for making generative music, for zoning out, but it allows you to do some really, really creative sounding effects work that you can't really easily do in Ableton. And I think working physically kind of opens up a new avenue and like a new way of interfacing with stuff that will basically lead you to making sounds that you wouldn't if you were just working on your laptop. So, oops. Give me 1 second to resolve this. And give me 1 second to go ahead and plug my phone in as well. That is one thing I didn't consider, is a phone dying. Getting plugged in. Are we charging? We are charging. Okay, cool. So, yeah, the first effect that I have plugged in is called Data Bender. And I think that's where we're going to start messing around with today. I'll move the camera so that way it's not in the way. Yeah, this is a really cool effect. It does what it says on the tin, which is bin data. So it's like a lot of different digital effects. And in the background, I'm going to pull up a manual that I have for reference. Oh, what's up? Sorry, I missed your message. Analog Ghost, long time since we've chatted. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I can show you really quickly. Little behind the scenes for tech friends. Yeah, so I actually don't have anything super crazy set up. I don't remember what I did to set like the firmware up for it, but essentially I work on a Mac, and to get this to work, I set up an aggregate device combining my audio interface as well as the ES8, so that way I'd still be able to use my interface monitors and headphones at the same time by routing the same thing in Ableton. And for whatever reason, it decided, I before stream was trying to figure this out, if I could reorder things. So now naturally the first two outputs are actually to the ES8 and not my monitors. So in Ableton, I just went in and configured the first two stereo in and stereo out, as well as my audio interface out. And there's probably a billion other ways you can do this, but I essentially decided to do one send, use one track as a send that is just sending directly to the first two channel out. Not taking any input in, because I wanted to have a separate channel that I could just continuously record on without overwriting the original audio. And it's doing the same deal, external audio effect, audio in from the stereo in. And I don't know if this is a power problem or something else with my setup, but there is like a noise floor, so I just threw a gate on there. But yeah, hopefully that's enough info. Again, I don't remember what I did to configure the actual firmware of the ES8, or if it was just kind of right out of the box. But it did take some playing around with to get set up. And the other thing that I am doing which I don't know if it's the right way or not, but there's this Max for Live device that I wanted to be able to send clock out. So that's just basically going to the 8th output. Technically, I should have played around with having like a run or stop, start, or reset for clock stuff, but I was like, well, I just need one clock because I want to do clocked effects. And there was another project where I was messing around trying to get MIDI to CV working because I wanted to be able to send node info as well as be able to send automation as CV. I don't have that up and running right now because I'm just going to do some pretty basic stuff and some manual knob turning to essentially do the automation stuff. So hopefully that is illuminating. Yeah, thanks for joining in. Hope you enjoy. This probably won't be anything new to you. Oh, you've got the ES9. Cool. Yeah, I almost got an ES9 as well, but the HP is crazy. But what I have set up, which I really enjoyed, is using a pod for the ES8 as well as the Herb Mod Plus, which I'm kind of using as the MIDI TCV portion of things, as well as kind of like a standalone sequencer. But I find that's worked out because the HP real estate is crazy. I know the ES9, you can get headphone and line out and stuff and more inputs and outputs. But yeah, I've heard bad things about the Expert Sleepers UI stuff. They're amazing and prolific, but I think it could be some work done on the user experience side. But yeah, I don't think there's gonna be anything groundbreaking in what you're gonna see today in today's stream. But it's a little bit novel for me because normally when I'm making recordings and stuff for the modular, I'm just starting from scratch synthesizing stuff. But this is the first time that I've really done like, all right, let's do something hybrid. Let's send something from a track from Ableton over. Mostly because I was like, I want to use Databender on a track, send some stuff through it, but we'll have some fun with the other stuff as well. We're going to switch back over. Yeah, so like I was going to say, I am pulling up the manual. So classic modular person thing is you got to pull up the manual of all the modules you're going to be messing with because there's often a lot of shift combos. But yeah, let's see. So I've got the mix at 0 right now. So let's just get some playback. Actually, let me load the first sample. So my plan is to start with the melodic stuff, the vocals and the guitar, and see what we get out of it. If we get something interesting, and just start with Databender, and from there we can add on other effects. I don't think I'm going to do really a complicated effect chain all in one go. More like do individual effects and then pull them together separately. But I know by the end I kind of want to do like create a pad. Which I can do probably with C-Legs to just reverb it out. But for now, wanted to add some sort of like glitches and some polish, some sparkle. So I'm going to find that guitar sample and pull it into the channel so we can send it. All right, let's see if we can hear it. Yes, we can. Start recording. That clip of the drum break at the start. Okay, gonna start recording. Recording. All right. Let's start just by messing around with things. Here we go. Let's rotate through the effects on this channel. This is like a bit crush. I think this is like a CD buffer. Distortion. All right, let's start modulating some things so we get some variation over time. Oh, sorry, bumped the mic. All right, I'm not going to show the modulation. I'm just using Oct, which is a LFO device. Just generates slow FLOs. I'm gonna send it to repeats and time as well. Sorry if the loop's gonna get old. I'm gonna increase the dry wet so we get more of the effects. Just go full wet. Very cool. Switch to LFO. High pass, low pass. This is like a vinyl effect. We'll let this ride for a minute. Cool. Gonna unplug some of the modulation. It's getting a little extreme. Cool. So I'm thinking about switching to the vocal now, running it through the same effect. I think we'll get some more interesting things now that'll have more audio to chew on than just that couple bar loop. Loading up the vocals. All right, we'll start fully dry so we can get an idea of what we're working with. And record.
You know you want me.
All right, let's pull it in.
You know you
Turn the beats down. Let's go fully wet, because we can always bring the dry back post. This is cool. This is kind of what I was looking for. Right, let's modulate, bend, and break. Maybe not bend as much. Let's go back to modulating the repeats. Ooh, actually I'm gonna let this sit for a second. I really like this. I did want this sort of kind of granular effect. Modulate the repeats. What if we change the time to be really long? Ooh, now we're talking. Okay, now what I want to do is add in sea legs, which is like a delay. So I'm going to pull the camera back so it can see it as well. Alright, so not much is going to change about the data bender. We'll just be focusing on sea legs. So we're going to have to do some surgery to get the audio out. Going in to the sea legs. And I'm going to have to grab some more patch cables. So now we can go from the out back into Ableton. Nice. The drive is all the way up. Love that. D-Legs S tier module. Absolute best. Okay. Just bring the drive back up because otherwise it's 0. Okay, so it's pretty much fully dry right now, but I want to duplicate the clock so we can get a clock to delay here. I'm actually going to turn the data bender all the way to dry so we can just get the sea legs by itself. Let's turn up the mix. I forgot my clock is really fast. Let's change to medium length. Actually want to go to long. I love this bucket brigade delay. The tail is awesome. Gonna add some tape warble. Why don't we drive it a lot? Nice. don't we go with a shorter delay?
You know you You know you You know
Let's turn on the data bender so we get some really interesting effects. Fully wet.
You know you
Very nice. That's a bit extreme. Let's modulate some stuff. Modulate the filter cutoff so it kind of comes in and out, as well as the color, because that will kind of change how busted everything sounds. Let's also modulate the feedback. We go to digital. The color's a bit crushed with that. I think it might fit a little bit better. What's up, Case? Thanks for joining. What we've got going here is running stems of the song I've been working on through modular to kind of create some new elements to play with. So if we go fully dry, we have the original vocal I was working with 2 weeks ago. Actually, I'm just going to record it with that distortion because I like it too. Fortunately, got to sit and wait for it to record. I can't just let it bounce. But, you know, that's what's fun about it. Playing physically. Gonna add some noise as well. Change the noise timbre. Add delay and reverb. Wash it out. It's a really nice washout. Ooh. I'm gonna go back to fully wet in the data bender. Hell yeah. Looking forward to your stream tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Break a leg.
You know you
There's some really nice flourishes in there. Cool. So now we've got this patch set up. I'm gonna run a couple more things through it. So give me 1 second to get that set up. It's the noise is going through the chain and making some cool effects. All right, sorry, I'm still trying to find what I was thinking of. Oh, here it is. All right, let's see if this comes through. Let's go fully dry so we make sure I'm not crazy. Oops. All right, that's much quieter. And I think I actually wanted to use it on a different channel. Yeah, this one. All right, let's turn it up. I love the sound. All right, gonna start recording. We are recording, and let's mess around with the effects. So I'll recenter around Data Bender. And we can start there. Turn the mix back up. I'm gonna go fully wet because I can always add the dry in post. I'm gonna reduce the bit crushing. Nice. All right, let's pull in the delay again. I think this will complement it really nicely. And go back to the bucket brigade. I'm gonna go back to the long delay as well. I really want to wash this one out. I'm gonna distort it a little bit. There we go. Let's distort it a little bit more. Really digging this so far. I'm gonna bring the dry back in. What if we change the rate of the modulation going in? I'm gonna turn the reverb and delay down. I just want to get that distortion. It's very satisfying. Word. All right, I'm gonna add another effect to the chain, which is kind of a multi-effect that I think we could get some really interesting sounds out of. So I'm just gonna put it in the chain and keep building up this chain. Yeah, let's do it. All right, I'm gonna stop audio. And what I'm going to do is insert it before the chilllll. So I'm going to route these outputs, or sorry, those inputs into the output of this other module, and route the output of that module into chilllll. So, of course, that cable isn't long enough. And here we go. Okay. All right, gonna reposition the camera. All right, so right now we'll be messing with this module called Timazor by a company called Chaos, spelled XAOC as shown, which is a multi-effect. It's based on the Spin F1 or V1, Spin V1, I think, device, which is like something that people have been using for ages to write low-level effect algorithms on. They've kind of made some of their own. So let's try it out. I don't know what it's on currently, but let's just start and see what happens. Play around with it and hit record. Make sure we aren't clipping first. We're probably gonna get some really nasty sounds, like not in the good way. All right, let's go. What kind of effects do I want? Let's start with go glitch. And let's modulate everything. So give me a second to grab a couple more patch cables. Let's modulate this activate. And of course that cable isn't long enough. Let me grab a couple more. All right, this one's gonna modulate called distort, so hopefully this doesn't get blown out. And then buffer. Let's go fully wet. This is cool. But not as musical as I was liking. What about this? Oh, this is cool. So I'm actually thinking is to process the basses instead, because I think the basses will work with more atonal stuff. So give me 1 second to route the basses through here. All right, recording. Let me turn it fully on dry so we can make sure we got the right stuff coming through. We do. All right, let's turn up the wet to see if we get some crazy sounds. Okay, here we go. Let's do some manual messing around first. Let's increase the chance. Oh, this is sick. Let's modulate. Mod, whatever that means. Oh, sick. Modulate chance. Oh, let's go back through some of the other glitch sounds. Oh, cool. That's sick. Reverse? Are you gonna reverse? Oh. Oh, I remember this one being kind of crazy, so watch your ears. At this point, I'm just flipping through things to see what sounds cool. This does. Let's speed up the modulation. This is goofy. I mean, hey, you're not a person making modular sounds if you're not making something goofy and entirely unusable. Let's change the modulation up. I think mod is what's doing it. All right, here we go. This is cool. All right, let's try a different category. I wanted to try try reconstruct. Ooh, that's cool. Ooh, this is sick. Some gloopy sounds. All right, maybe reconstruct isn't a very usable category. Let's go with spectral. That's what's hot with the kids nowadays. This might make some cool effect throws. Let's modulate it. Yeah, exactly. Analog ghosts. But hey, as I was saying earlier in the stream, if you're recording for like a half hour and 10% is usable, that is still a lot of usable audio. It's just digging up which part that is. But this is cool. I might use this for some like effects throws. Let's try high-low. Oh, okay, must be pitching down. What about scatter? A little much. Some of these are stereo, some of these are mono. Oh, this is cool though. Oh God. About diffraction. Whoa. All right, I'm gonna try a couple of distortions because they had some really crazy stuff. Specifically under deconstruction. Ooh, this will make some really nice layering. As much as bass boosting is a meme, you can make some actually really cool sounds with that sort of effect, especially when layered in. Like if you high pass this, it'll be a really cool noise layer. Let's try Riot. At a certain point, a lot of this kind of becomes samey. All right, I'm gonna turn down the dry wet of that. Okay, and let's focus back on Data Bender, because I think Data Bender would add some really cool fill sounds here. I think I'm actually gonna skip Timisoara because I think it's like low passing the sound a little bit, which I do not want. Just give me a second to get that oriented. Alright, we're now going directly to Helix. Alright, what do you got for us, Data Bender? Let's go fully wet. I'm gonna crank the timing up a bit. Getting some cool chops. Ooh, this is cool. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. All right, I'm gonna drive it and include some sea legs as well. Ooh, that's sick. Oh, this is tight. Short delay. If we do a long delay. Ooh. Gonna go full dry. This is cool. Gonna let this go for another dozens of seconds or so. This is really good glitch stuff to use for fills. At this point, it's only Databender that's playing. Well, I mean, there's audio going into it, but Databender's the only active effect. Ooh, oh, that's sick. Oh, Databender is so good, y'all. What if I change the time scale so we get some really fast stuff? Gonna be a lot more glitchy. If I increase the rate of modulation too. Sick. Let's go even a step further. At a certain point, everything just becomes kind of granular sounding. Let's take out the pitching part. Let's slow back down. Let's just go bananas. Sometimes you just gotta make your patch go bananas to end it off. So let's just engage Databender and Sea Legs. Turn up the feedback. Add noise, why not? Distort it. Let's go full wet. And we get some very cool ambiances. We switch to tape. Digital. Okay. This is pretty cool. I stopped feeding audio into it. You know what? Let's do that. Let's stop. Let's just add a little bit and then ride the feedback. Give me 1 second so I can start recording again. Okay, recording. Because right now there's no audio coming into this. We're just using the feedback. This stuff may not be usable in this track, but you could make some really cool sounds somewhere else. Let's turn the reverb off. I'm basically getting a tonal delay because the delay times are so small. Let's pitch it to medium. There we go. I mean, what's up? Thanks for joining. You unfortunately got to the point in the stream where I'm just kind of like making goofy ass dumb sounds. But I was thinking I was going to make more of an ambient thing in a sec. So I'm going to finish recording this. And what I'm going to do is take... Here, let me just turn off the delay. Oh, hush up. Go away. Cool. All right, so what I'm going to do is take one part of the song. Yeah, exactly. It's been a recurring thing. Several people in chat have been like, yeah, this is totally music production. It's just making... goofy ass sounds. 10% are usable, but if you record for long enough, that 10% becomes a lot. It becomes a lot of audio you can search through. So what I was thinking about doing is, instead of sending what I was before, what you missed it, I was just sending the base group of a track I'm working on through this, just to kind of get some glitch sounds. I'm going to take more of kind of like a one-shot sound and crank up the delay and things, so we can kind of get some more pad-esque type sounds and go more in a chiller direction, I think. So let me find a good sound to do that with real quick. This was the first that came to mind. Yep, that's the one. So give me a second to load that up. Okay, and I think I'm working on Ableton off screen, sorry. All right, let's make sure we get this audio coming through. So I've got it set up and recording, and I'm gonna set like a long loop time so we can let that sound play out through this delay. Okay, we are. We're just driving it pretty hard right now. All right, shortening the loop. Cool. I don't want it to be as distorted. And let's set up a longer delay. All right. Cool. Engaging the delay. I want more feedback. A sea legs, such a good module. You get such great washout sounds like that. We don't want it to be that harsh though. I should probably go almost fully wet because I can add the dry in post. I want more color. What if I do a medium delay? But not that fast. Let's switch to the digital model, because I think that's a little bit more fitting to the track. Crank up the feedback. What else do I want? Yeah, why don't we add in the data bender? So the data bender, Skylar, for those who've just joined, it's kind of like a glitch sort of oriented module. Turn up the dry wet and see what we have right out the box. I think I'm gonna have to increase the speed so it can grab and glitch onto more. And maybe I want to change the order effects and have the data bender go after the delay, so it can have more to crunch on. Before I do that, we'll just see what we got right now. I think I might change the order effects. Yeah, I'm going to. So let's see if we can zoom out a little bit. All right. I'm unable to get my camera fully up, but I'm going to have the sea legs go before the data bender because I want the delay to go through the glitch. So just basically swapping out inputs and outputs. So now we have the data bender going in here. Okay, and there we go. Okay, immediately see what I'm talking about. All right, I'm going to turn up the feedback of the delay. All right, sick. So what Data Bender is doing is kind of applying digital glitches, pitching up and down, like sort of like buffer dropouts. if I change the time macro, it can slow it down. We'll go fully wet, so we just hear the data bender by itself. Very cool. All right, this is cool. I think I'm going to switch the audio source for something else and run it through here. Give me 1 second to get that set up. Oh yeah, I have a music box. Let me try that. All right, let me clear the buffer, the delay, because it's still going off of just the audio I sent it. Okay, cool. All right, let's go to dry on everything so we can hear what I'm going to send through it next. Make sure this works. All right, it is working, but it's very quiet. Let me boost it up. Okay. Let's see if Data Bender does. Ooh, okay. So right now it's only playing a portion of a chord progression, but I'm going to let it play the whole thing because I want to have the backdrop of the full progression and not just one chord in it. Was there still any... Sorry, just saw the Twitch chat messages. Any noise issues for people? This is super sick, by the way. Okay. Thanks for the heads up. Let me see if I can troubleshoot that real quick. All right, I'll switch to the Ableton side. Word. Okay, so I think maybe something weird's going on. Let me mute that. Okay, it looks like it's present. Is it this? No, that's weird. That is crazy. Let me see if I have any like weird loopback settings going on. That's not good. Whatever that is. Okay. Yeah, give me a couple more minutes to see if I can debug that. Sorry, y'all. I haven't had this happen before. So I'm gonna try and monitor so I can hear what y'all are hearing. Oh yeah, I hear it. What on earth is that? That's horrid. Give me a second and I'm gonna save the Ableton project and reopen it. And let's try another audio source. So play something off SoundCloud, see if we still get it. Sorry, it's gonna be some dubstep. Doesn't seem to be that. I think it might have been an Ableton problem. Something going weird with audio capture. Sorry about that. How's everybody doing? I am going to try and rep before 9. Oh yeah, thank you, Liquid Mars. Good thing. I'm still training myself on self promo. So yeah, let's listen to some of my music since it seemed like it was just focused on Ableton. And for some reason, I don't really show up on title search, but we'll go to my SoundCloud. All right, let's go. So my newest track called Surrender. Wow, almost out a month ago. Play it in the background. Actually, we might start winding down stream anyways, because I wanted to end at 9 to raid Case Spowboy as a thanks for supporting me, helping me get set up. Oh, Sky, you're a FL user. Fair enough. I can't judge. It's not my, doesn't fit my style of work, but some of my favorite producers do use FL. Yeah, I think I actually might wind down stream here anyways. We'll just listen through this new track. Thanks, Skylar. Oh great, I have the monitoring on. Alright, monitor off. Sorry about that. Hopefully that wasn't causing feedback.
Accepting what is.
Thanks, Liquid Memories. Or Memoirs, sorry. Liquid Memories sounds like a drum and bass track. Something that 2010 Nets guy would have written. All right, I'm just gonna see if we still have that horrible noise problem, because I do want to play the track which I've been running through. The modular rig, so people get context for those who were in late. Let me monitor again to make sure. Sorry, clicking around on OBS. What is going on with that? Not sure, but what I'm gonna do is bounce the track and then we can listen to it, and I'll deal with that loopback issue some other time. Make sure that's taken care of. Sorry if that's been a problem throughout the rest of stream, but I appreciate y'all bearing with me. Let's bounce this. And let's just bounce it in the project. Oh, you make Liquid DMB. Hell yeah. Feel free to share your SoundCloud, whatever. Whoa. What is going on? I might know what is going on. I think it is still trying to send audio and the loopback is messed up. So let me open an older version. Where I don't have all this loopback stuff set up and it might be able to play back. Sorry for the dead air. How are things going for you, Skylar? Didn't go back far enough. Version 7. And this is why I do save as. I was mentioning this before, saving my projects as to make sure I can basically not overwrite the past versions in case something like this comes up. And it's also nice just to revisit the old version of the track as well. There we go. Oh, nice. Heck yeah, Skylar. Hopefully this would got your brain going. I always enjoy like consuming music creation content because it always helps me like get into the groove, be like thinking about making music, you know, getting to the point when you're like, oh, I would make this change in this track while listening to somebody. It's always like, oh yeah, it's time for me to jump at the DAW, you know, stop listening to someone making music and just make it. All right. So, yeah, let me double check one last thing on the loopback to see if this is still a problem. Okay, it doesn't look like it's a problem. But sorry, I need to change the audio output so I can hear it. But let me know if you hear anything. Otherwise, I'm just going to play this work in progress. The elements of this track are what I was sending through the modular that you were hearing earlier. to kind of create a mud pie to resample.
You know you want me to feel your body.
I'll probably do another in the box stream
You know
sometime in the future.
you want me.
Pretty hyped for this track.
Lay it all on me.
Great to hear. Okay, so it was an issue with my loop back of going to the modular and coming back. But yeah,
You know you waited on
intro's a little bare bones. I want some variation, but the first couple bars of the drop I really dig,
You know you waited for your body.
and the variation section after is a little skeletal,
You know you
but it's got good bones.
lay it all on me.
This part's a little underbaked, but the bones are there.
You know you want me.
And that's what I've got so far. I've got a lot of other ideas out here, but I'm thinking what I'm going to do is actually take off that switch section and use this as the second drop, add some new variation, and instead duplicate out this first section of the drop, and include some of the sound design we did today to kind of create fills and edits, and probably reincorporate the vocals and the melodic parts of the intro to kind of create, maybe 16, 32 bars here. Basically what I want to try and do the song, instead of having the songs that I usually make, usually have two different parts of each drop. And that takes a long time for me to write, and I want to try and keep it simple. So instead of being like, all right, cool, let's have a switch here where I switch out the kick, switch out the snare, switch out the sound design, just be like, all right, that could be the second drop, and then have the variation section just be that and not like 3 or 4 different drops. And yeah, thanks Skylar, and thank you Liquid Memoirs. I do need to wrap up in a minute. I would love to break things down more here, but I stream every other week. Today, it's a little bit different. I normally do Thursdays, 8 p.m. EST, but today I'm doing it on Tuesday because I have plans. And actually, I can shout that out. I was talking about it at the beginning of the stream. If you're in the greater Boston area, I definitely recommend you consider checking out this event going on at Sonya Takuya Nakamura, who's a Japanese. Actually, it's funny. We're talking about. I played drum and bass track, Liquid Memoirs. You make drum and bass. He's going. He DJs like old school Liquid D&B and plays jazz trumpet on top of it, and it's awesome. It's very, very cool. So if anyone here happens to be in the greater Boston area, definitely recommend you check this out. Otherwise, I'll be back 2 weeks from that Thursday. Not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe back in the box producing in Ableton, or might be doing some more hardware stuff, might be DJing. So thanks for dropping by, everyone. I'm going to try and get a raid set up. So I guess, does anybody know how to do that? Super naive Twitch streamer question. But I wanted to raid my friend Case Spowboy, who I used to work with, and they're a Twitch DJ. So give me 1 second. I'm going to play out the track again while I am looking something up real quick. So hang tight with us for a second.
You know you want me. You know you ready.
Okay, figuring out how to raid.
You know you want to feel your body. You know you want me. Lay it all on me. You know you want me. You know you waited on your honey. You know you waited for your body. You know you want me. Lay it all on me.
Bird. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Looking forward to making more, working on this track. But right now, we're gonna rap and raid, like I said, my friend Case Spowboy. They're DJing right now. Go say hi if you're still hanging out. Listen to some good tunes. Yeah. So thanks again. I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Keep an eye on my socials for updates. Word. See everyone. Have a great night. All right, raid is commencing. This is excited. Let's see what happens. All right, we're gonna raid. See everyone. Have a great one. Say hi to Case for me.
You know you waited for your body.
I'm gonna figure this out. I will figure this out. If anyone knows what the keyword is, it's not count. Let's try amount, maybe? Yo, let's go! Okay, it went back down to 0. Oh no. Yes, I'm using Stream Elements. Safco DSP, let's go. Thank you so much for the raid. Huge shout out for my friend Safco. Was doing modular loves earlier. Such a great vibe. Y'all, go follow Safco DSP. They're still working on affiliates. It would be amazing to get them up to 50 followers, get that affiliate requirement taken care of. That'd be incredible. Yes, get that dinner. Sounds good. Dramatic Instinct, welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. Let's go, Benison. Filthy Vaughn with a 420 tip. Thank you so much, Vaughn. Yes, cosplay. Let's go. Thank you so much, Vaughn. Huge shout out for my friend Filthy Vaughn, too. That is